My name's Andy Needham. I'm a freelance senior motion designer. I'm based in London, and looks like we're good to go. So thank you so much to Maxon for having me out here, and appreciate you guys all turning up as well. So I've been working in the industry for over 20 years. I'm also an established trainer. Been making content for LinkedIn Learning for around about 12 years, and then during that time as well, particularly around the sort of pandemic, I got to work with Grayscale Gorilla and School of Motion for content for them. The other side of this is like, these courses take a long time to do. Sometimes there's a long period of development, and for something more immediate, I have a YouTube channel and I'm focusing on Cinema 4D and the particle node modifiers at the moment. So if that's of interest to you, go and check it out, and there'll be some more bits as I get them up there. For work recently, I've been doing immersive artworks with a company called Cinesight, and for Frameless. It's a gallery in London in Marble Arch. And this was a reimagination of the Rembrandt painting that you see on the left, taking it into a wraparound video that we're going to project onto all the walls, the floor, the ceiling. And it's an amazing experience, and it was great to be also working as part of this small team with Cinesight putting this one together. So from that, we got to put together paintings. This is a Rachel Roy. She was a Dutch painter as well, a similar time to Rembrandt, and I had the opportunity to kind of just take this and had almost free reign over this one. So I just thought of making a kind of cool experience where we're sort of traveling under things, and and it was great to have the freedom to work on this and the trust that they put in me. So thanks to Cinesight for that as well, and Alex Watkins at Cinesight did the comping on this. Other than that, I did all of it. So I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud that I could take my kids and my wife to see it as well, and then you see like other people enjoying it also. And yeah, so I'll show my reel and then we'll get into the proper thing. Right, let's do it. Thank you. Okay, so you're here because you're interested in Maxon Studio, so that's great, because I'd love to talk to you about it. So if you're just curious, unfamiliar about it, then it is a plugin for After Effects. It's part of, it's a Red Giant tool. So Studio is the interface for browsing and applying and adjusting capsules. A capsule is just a term that Maxon are using throughout various softwares. But in the context of After Effects, you can just think of it as a composition, really. Just whatever goes into a comp can be encapsulated and then rebuilt by the templating engine. So we're not working with like AE files, we're working with .mxn file. So it's actually a readable format. It's kind of crazy when you look at it. But so when you're working with a capsule, you can make adjustmants to them. There's using the interface, and then any changes that you want to make and you want to keep, you can save them as presets, which for a little while that's been available, and that's a really good workflow improvement. So this is what Studio looks like at the moment, and we have the opportunity, I've been given the opportunity to give you a sneak peek of the Create page. And so when this new update gets published, there'll be this new section where you can actually make your own capsules, share them, and build your own libraries and all that kind of stuff, which for the past couple of months I've been doing myself. So I've made 100 capsules for this latest release, and the first one I ever did was this subscribe button, which was just going back to that YouTube channel I mentioned. I was thinking, I might need some bits to put into these videos, and Studio was a great helper in all of that. And this was quite fun to put together. At the time, there was a lot of restrictions, a lot of workflow things that I had to kind of tweak, and we didn't have shape layers and things like that supported, so a lot of this is built with solids and masks and stuff, but the team have done an amazing job at basically taking all the things I said I don't like and making it better. And they're constantly improving it and working really, really hard. So I appreciate them very much. So as I said, this is my first ever capsule. inside of the capsule, you can customize text colors, the glow, whether you even want the stroke and things like that. And when you first make it, you're making these little tools for yourself, and it feels pretty special. So I want to talk about some upcoming features, and this is, the team have been working super hard to get this new build so I can show you some stuff, but I just want to give you a fair warning that it's a beta version, it's tech preview kind of thing, so if it crashes, we'll have to just work around that. Let's hope it doesn't. Let's just see how we get on. So live capsules, this was a huge one for me. What this means is previously when you were making a capsule, it would kind of freeze the state of everything in the comp. And if you just if you made a small change, even just toggling a layer, it would break the whole thing. Now, you can do whatever you want. You can pretty much work normally in After Effects, and the capsule will just keep updating and following and tracking all your changes, which means creation is a breeze. I'm going to show you this as well, and I'm not sure if it's going to crash or not, but we'll see. But I really think it's really useful to be able to modify and update existing capsules. Say you've missed off a control, or you've got some feedback from someone, you don't have to rebuild the whole thing, you just modify it, go in, add those bits, update it, and republish the capsule. And then one thing that's going to be really useful is if you're not a capsule creator, but someone has given you some, you can just import them, and then they're organized in your in After Effects. So we have the ability to obviously share with export. And another nice thing is the capsule details. When we'll get into this, I'll show it to you in a better context, but you can actually, each capsule has metadata attached to it, which means this is how we search for them. Being able to change and update and add new tags and all this kind of stuff just is a great improvement as well. So another really useful feature for rigging up your capsules is linked parameters, and that just means, like, say we've got a couple of color properties, for example, and we want one to drive the other. Think of it in Cinema 4D as like set driver, set driven, that kind of thing. That's in as well. And setting slider limits so that people don't break the design. You can say, well, it fits within these thresholds. So you'd have defaults and min and max, that kind of thing. So we'll get to this in a second. Let's dive in to After Effects, and I'll show you. This is obviously where Studio is. I've got it docked in my panel, but you find it by going to Window and choosing Maxon Studio right there. One thing I'd suggest is coming in and learning or making your own custom keyboard shortcut, which we have here. I've customized mine so I can toggle the panel on, open and close, because After Effects can get pretty busy at times and you might want to just clear the decks. So just being able to do that is really handy. If you want to find any of my plugins, all you need to do is make sure you're in the All Capsules category at the top, which will give you all of these subcategories, I guess, and just click on View. And because mine are tagged with my handle from social media, you'll be able to see them all there. Let's maximize this. You can see how dynamic it is. It will just reflow to show you all the content there. So let's just find the one I was going to talk about. There's this one here. So I can just maybe come out of here. I can apply it. Now, it's giving me this little warning because obviously it needs to put it into a composition. And it's nice that it does this, because if you're not an After Effects user, you might not really know that. So it's just going to say, well, let's put it into a new comp, and we're going to make it a 1920 by 1080 comp, and maybe just reduce that down. Doesn't really matter, we'll just put it in. All right. So we have this here. You probably can't see that too well. So what I can do is just come into the edit here, and I've got parameters for maybe increasing the scale. I can also just show it to you like this. And then if we want to, we've got the subscribe. We could say, you know what, that should say get notified. All right, so now we've changed all of that, and you can see it's updated nicely. The stroke, we can turn it on and off. We can turn on and off the glow. We could even bump up the amount of glow, or go to a single color, change the color if we like. We can probably reduce this down, and we're just making all these decisions as we go. Maybe this is sort of purpley color, and now we've got a completely different, design, all the animations retained, and then we could, render this off and do what we need. Or, say this isn't finalized yet, maybe we want to come back in, go back into the discovery section here for some more capsules. Maybe we like it this one here. Let's apply this. We'll put this underneath. Now we've got something going on here, and we can come back into editing. So as you see on the panel on the left here, that this keeps track of all the capsules that we have in our current project. We can use the 3 dots here to rename or apply or even revert back to the default. So say, yeah, you can change all this stuff, or you can even delete from here as well. Let's just edit maybe some of this one. So we could take one of the colors from here, pick that, choose OK, and now we're sort of like bringing that into this this little world. Maybe we can reduce some of the grain, and then, for example, I might like this as something I want to reuse later. So we'll just save it as a preset. So I'll save this. I might just call it like purple thing. You can give it a more meaningful name later on if you like, but that's saved as a preset. This little button here will give us a handy way of going back to the details view. And this is another thing I was talking about all these, the capsule type. You can read about what it is, and you can now see that we have that preset that we've added here. So anything else will be there. We can use the 3 dots to rename this, because purple thing might not be useful anymore. We're going to move it to the trash. You'll show it in the Finder. This is now something that we can give to somebody else. They can import it into Studio. And again, we've got these tags and stuff like that. So presets are really handy, and I think that's, yeah. So now I want to show, let's just make a new project. Okay, I'm not going to save this. I will go into this Create tab, and these are some of the capsules that I have on this system that I've made. So let's just take a look at modifying this one. And this is where it might get a bit sketchy, we'll see. But if we modify this, we need to put it into a comp. So I'm going to put it into just the same settings that we had before, and it's applied it. So that's great. Now, let's say that I didn't like the glow effect. I want to change my mind on the glow effect now. So we just can, as the capsule creator, I can just come in and make this change. So I've got my glow, and it's universe glow. So I want to change this to be optical glow. Okay, so I'm going to add this, and I'll bring it in here. And what I'm going to do is just make sure that the alpha is extended. So let's just check. Yeah, all right. So yeah, with this one, we're actually applying way too many glows now. It's looking a bit crazy. We'll get rid of this. And that's looking nice, but it's probably a bit intense. So I'm going to set this down to be 8, and maybe that's going to become my default value, all right? Now, in Studio, I want to remove this glow size, and I also want to make sure that when I have my checkbox, it's going to still turn on and off this glow. So all we need to do is expose the effect, and we will grab the amount and drag and drop. So we're dragging and dropping, and with this, I can then edit. I just call this glow amount, and then I can set my slider limits from maybe 0 to 25. Okay, and I'll update that. And I've still got this one here, so what I want to do is just delete that, and that goes, and then I can just use the up and down arrows to put this into the right place. So with the amount, I'm going to hold down Alt or Option, and I'm going to pick whip over to this glow on off thing, and I'm going to set that to be a variable called toggle. And what I'm going to do is say if toggle is less than 1, let's make that value 0, otherwise just use the value that we have in place. So that seems to be working, and we can just toggle this off. You can see it's gone. You can see there that it's 0, put it back on, and it's working. And you can test these sliders as well, all within Studio in the context of your build, right? So it all links up, it's all linked up live. And now when we've made those changes, we just click on Create. And just going to make sure that we're here, yeah. Click on Create, and now it's done it, thankfully, successfully. And at the bottom, we've got our update, which is here. Now, what I'm going to do is just show you importing and exporting. Let's say we wanted to share this. I can export this out, and it's given me a zipped folder. If I open this, inside of this is the capsule that I've just made. So it's very easy just to share the zip folder with somebody. You can define that location in the preferences and get it to open up as well, right? So back in the create, let's just, because it's already there, I'm not worried that I've lost anything now, I'm gonna delete this. Whoa, okay, yeah, I'm sure I want to delete it. Okay, it's gone. And now let me show you importing. I'm just gonna make a new comp just so you can see it's completely fresh. Sorry, a new project. Let's not save this. Let's click here to import. We can import a file or a folder. In this case, I want to import a folder because we've got the structure nicely done here. So we go into the parent folder, and then anything in here is going to be pulled in. So let's just bring this in. It's going to come down to, again, the bottom of our stack. I think it's done based on dates. And we could apply this. What I tend to do is filter by user-generated capsules, right? And then I can just see what I've made. Let's make a new comp so we don't get that warning. And I'll just choose OK. Now, if we click here, we can add this. All right? Let's go into our edit section. And there we have it. Oh, I just need to drop that down. And I just wanted to show you that when I dive into this, the stroke, you know, it's got that optical glow effect that we had, and it's all there. So, okay. So that's that part done. And I'll come back to here. And we're going to go and build something like this. It might seem simple, but that's good. But the point of all this is to show that if you're a capsule creator thinking of maybe non-After Effects users in mind, you can put a lot of controls into Studio that mean that they don't even have to dive into the comps at all. And we could take this design and rework it into be, you know, something similar, right? But it's just changing the things around, and we'll go from there. So let's open a project that I've started. All right, so whenever you're building in, you know, you want to be building, let's just go into the Create tab. You want to park it on a frame that has some useful information here and not just nothing, because that's going to generate the thumbnail when you start to build. But I also believe that with it being a live capsule, it might even keep track of what's going on. But you know, that was my experience in the past, so that's what I know. So the other thing as well is, you can see that I've got all of this main comp in another comp, because when I bring it back in, I want it to be just a pre-comp. I don't want it to be all the layers. I just want it to look neat and tidy. So we'll go into New, and it asks you which comp are we focusing on to build this capsule. Yeah, it's the build one. That makes sense. If not, you would just refresh it, and it would update to the one that you're currently in. We'll create a capsule. Now, you've got groups. You've got all the details, so we could say, well, this is going to be like motion graphics, you know, to action with some messages, me, that's the creator, and then you could write something about the capsule. Oops, can I even spell it? It's very small on my display. Right, something here. And just, you could go back in and change this, so I'm not even bothered, right? Anyway, tags, any tags you'd add, we could add text or something like that. It filters down to some of the ones that are already on the system. So yeah, you can add tags quickly. That's your details tab. Then you go into properties, and any parameter that you have available on here will be able to update. So the first group, let's do the placeholder and choose update. And okay, so I'll take my time on this one because I think we've got the time to do it. Hopefully you can make it clear of the whole process, but I think it will be a lot of repetitive stuff, and that's the thing. Once you've got like the one message sorted out, it's pretty much rinse and repeat for the other one, but I think we'll talk about some linked parameters and some other things like that just to keep it interesting and mix it up a bit. The placeholder is really cool though, because it allows the end user to swap out whatever they want into the defined area. This could be image, some footage, or even another comp. So we'll dive into composition here. I've tried to keep it clean and organized. So in the placeholder one, I want to get into the main section here, and I've got this one that says replace me. So I'm going to drag this into here, all right? And the next thing I want to do is allow the user to control what, if you know, that image could be massive, so maybe we'll let them scale it down and position it and stuff like that. So I will expose position and scale, and I can select them both and just select them both, just drag those in, okay? looks like I want to reorder this, which I can do. So that's that little bit sorted out. And what I would also like to do is give them global control over the position so that we can then move this down, right? Move this around. And this, in the past, would have broken the capsule completely because I just made a change, okay? Now, it's totally fine, right? So we can position this how we want it, maybe round it off a little bit. And this can be a global position, right? So I can rename this. Update. We could even put in scale as well, just for completeness. And let's just put that in. All right. And okay, what I'd like to do is also give them control over the whole thing, right? They can fade it out. So we'll just have some opacity. So we can hide that if we need to. Then for now, we'll call that all right. And we'll grab a new group, rename this. This is going to be message 1. Update. So into our message 1 comp, we will find our text layer. So the source text is what we're looking for, and we'll drop that in. Okay, and on this, I've got my effects onto the side here, and in fact, what I'm going to do is just make this a little bit bigger. And what I'm going to show you is that we can find the fill here, grab the color. So that's going to be our text color. And then I've got some properties here that are animated. I just have to you to show those. So I want to still give them that control over moving this around, but I don't want to break the animation. So on the one that has scale, we won't do anything with the scale, but we'll grab that position, and we'll grab the scale from this one, and I'll also grab the rotation from this one. And you can see we get some UI elements as well, make it a little bit easier to do the rotation. And what else? Let's take the background color. Okay, so we'll grab the fill from here. This, we'll edit it. We'll just call this BG color, update, right? So, and then we'll come out into the main section here, press T, bring the opacity into Studio, like so. So what I'm going to do is repeat that process for message 2. So let me just work through it. And, you know, if you've missed anything that time around, you'll be able to pick it up. So what we're doing is just renaming the group to stay organized. You can move these up and down if you need to. It's the same thing as just moving up and down parameters in here. So you're not locked into that. So I'm going to jump into message 2, get the text, get the source text, put it in, back out to the main comp, E to expose the effects. We'll grab our color, put this in. Now we have control over the text color. So I'll take the position from this, I'll take the scale from this, and I'll take the rotation from this one, and then just grab the background color. And I want, not this drop shadow, I'll take the color here, drop that in, give myself a little bit more space so that when I can come back out into here, I will drag the opacity in. All right, so we're going to do the call to action a little bit differently. We're going to link up the color, the background color of the message 1 and link it to the background color of the call to action, just so you can see how that's done. So I'll add the new group, and this is going to be edited. We'll call it call to action. Okay, update. And inside of here, kind of guessed what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to add the source text. We'll come back out. Let's grab the color from here, all right? And we probably also want to just bring in position, scale, and rotation. Okay. And I want to move it down just so I've got position, scale, rotation like this. And yeah, background color, right. So with this one, we're not going to drag it into this group. What we'll do is we'll come up to this background color and edit it. And in this section here, we can drag properties that we want to be managed by that controller. So we'll add this one in and update. And then whenever we make a change to the background color in message 1, it's going to update to the call to action as well. That's the idea. So we will come back out. I'll grab the opacity, and now we don't want that there, so I've made a mistake. It's all right, just delete it. Okay, find the call to action, put it here. There we go. All right, so now we can hide all of these elements if needs be. So we could do something with the border and maybe the background, and then maybe we're done. I think actually we'll probably link up the circle, the color that's on the circle there as well, to the border color, and then we'll start testing this capsule. So border and circle. I mean, this is mainly going to be about the border because we've got some controls for the roundness and the thickness. So let's just start with the fill because I'm going to link that up. So I'll grab the fill, the color here, and we'll go into that placeholder comp that we had. And this is where the circle lives. So with the fill here, we're going to edit just as we did before. I'm going to just twirl this down and drag and drop that in. All right, so now that's all linked up, nice and easy. We could also hide it if we want to, but I'm not going to do that for now. You know, if I wanted to make that change, I'll edit it later on. I'm not going to do it for now. With the border, let's continue to work. And I'll grab the roundness and we'll just drop this slider in. Now what we want to do here is set up some limits. We don't want this to be too much. So I'll give it a name. And the limit, maybe we just say is 50. And update. All right. Now we will grab the width and we'll drop this in. And again, we probably don't want too thick. So maybe we just set that to be 30 and we'll call that width. And yeah, let's update. All right. So as you can see, again, it's kept all the defaults that we've set up. This is how we've designed it. This is what the end user is going to see. Let's just do our next thing, which is the background. So I'll press T. I've got it already there. All right. I'm going to make a new group just so it's clean. Background. Now I do have inside of this, I've got like a CC toner. We could grab all of these properties if we wanted to give them control over that. I think for now, I'm just going to turn it, I'm just going to say it's either on or it's off. So we'll come back into here and just put the opacity there. But yeah, you're free to do whatever you want, okay? So yeah, a group can be one property or multiple properties. So with all this done, we could have a little check through what we've done, but I think it's going to be all right. Let's go into our build, and yeah, it's all looking okay. We'll just choose to create. Now, it's going to use the name that we put here as the file name. So if we just create this, it's gone through, it's doing its thing. Success, hooray. It's always nice to see that. And it's appeared right there. So let's go to a new project. You don't have to do this, but I just like to keep it, you know, super clean. And yeah, we could apply it from there, or like I said, we can filter by any user-generated assets. So if we just close this one down, what I'm going to do is just apply it. Well, we need a 9:16 comp, so so let's make that. We'll go for this one. We'll choose OK. And I'm going to apply. And if we just play back, just press play back here. All right, so we've got it all working. Now we can come into the Edit tab. And let's start to play with our capsule. Let's just see if we can make something as I had in the little reference here. All right. I'm going to bring in my picture. And it's just as simple as dragging and dropping it on top. And because I've given myself those controls, I can probably scale this down, maybe move it over a little bit, maybe move it down a little bit, okay? And that's looking all right. And yeah. Okay. And well, I think I put in the day and the time, which was 10:30 a.m. And what else? It was where we are, so NAB. All right. So let's just check those linked parameters, okay? So this one was the one for the background color. If we change this, yeah, it's all linked up. We can drive it all now. Maybe we just check this one, choose it like that color. And our border, we can maybe go with, let's just see something like this. It did the circle as well, lovely. maybe go brighter. We can just keep changing our mind, keep tweaking. You know, we might want to just have that nice and dark, right? So we can add some roundness to this. We could adjust the width or even make it really thin. You know, and if I'd linked that up to the circle, we could have done something cool with that as well. Let's set this to 20. And you know, just by having the width at 0, we've effectively been able to hide it as well. But I quite like it. I'm going to keep it. Set this to 20. The background, maybe we don't want to use that background at all, so we just turn that off, and we'll come into discovery. Okay. We're going to view all capsules, and we'll find, oh, you know what we could do? Filter by just the vertical ones. So then we can grab maybe this nice one here. We'll apply this, drop that underneath, and edit this one. We might as well just take some colors from our theme that we're building up. I don't like that. I'm going to revert. I'm going to go for the green. Maybe make that like this. I think it should be darker. Okay. So this, you know, we can just create, design, change things as we want, right? So we're building this one up. It looks completely different to before, but why did we take the time to make all these other controls? Yeah, so that we can make a completely different design. So we'll put this at the top. Okay, we can bring this down, and maybe that's preferred now, you know? So you notice that for all of these edits, I haven't gone into the After Effects comp at all. It's all within Studio. It's all really user-friendly, okay? We've given the user all the power to make all these changes, and if we're happy with that one, just save it as a preset, right? You good? Next one, add a new instance or duplicate, and then we can, yeah. So new design, save that one off, and you know, once it should populate in here in the presets once it's had a little think. So we'll go back, and you know, you're free now to put in whatever you want on top. So, yeah, there we go. Whee! And then maybe we don't like that, so we'll just turn it off for now. But yeah, I think that was pretty much what I wanted to show you. We've covered quite a lot. There's a lot there, so if you have any questions, come and find me. I'm around, and when it's available to everyone, it will have been Maxonified, you know, because that's what they've been working on, just making it super user-friendly and making it intuitive and fun, and taking out all the friction that was previously there. So, yeah, congrats to the team for doing such an amazing job on it so far. And I will say thank you very much for your time. If you want to learn a little bit more about my process of how I did this, there's a story on the Maxon website. Yeah, we go into some questions and answers on that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. My name's Andy Needham. I'll see you again.